Hello everyone, welcome to Aaron's Collecting and Detecting. Just coming back at you with yet another video. I was supposed to be giving you another video yesterday, but as I was taping the opening of my box of Fleer Ultra 2001, I did not have the camera on, so I taped all that for nothing. But all this is open. I just didn't show you, so I'm gonna show you everything I got in there. This is the box that was supposedly had the Ichiro and or the Albert Pujols, but I wasn't sure because this box was retail and I didn't know if any of those would be in, either one of those would be in there. So and I will tell you, just because I know already they weren't in there, I don't know if because I just didn't get them or those particular numbers weren't in there, but I was actually disappointed. But I should have figured because it was too cheap for there to be a Pujols or an Ichiro in there. I should have figured that, but I saw that it was 2001 and I got excited and I bought it. But I'm not upset about it because I got some good cards, some good star cards, and I've never bought a box of this, so it's pretty good. Get some good inserts and some good star cards. But I'm going to show you what I got here in a second. But had pizza today. It was really, really good. It was from a place called Slice of the 80s. Everything in there is like 80s themed, like from movies and stuff like that, like the styles. It's pretty cool, actually. They got a little arcade with arcade games from the 80s in there, and it's just the names of their pizzas have 80s names, and it's really cool, and they actually taste really good. This is my first time trying them. I knew about them, but I just thought they were a gimmick. I didn't think they really had good pizza, but I tried them, and they were really good, actually. So, but yeah, that's about it. Just watched the Tigers game earlier, and they were losing 6-3, so I turned it off and watched some game shows and a couple movies. I watched this movie about the spiders attacking people, and it had William Shatner in it. It was kind of funny, actually. So I think it's from 1978. I can't remember what it's called, like Attack of the Spiders or something. I don't know, something corny like that. But it's pretty good. It's pretty bad. It was so bad it was good. That's all I'm saying. It's corny and it's funny, and it's funny seeing William Shatner in a role like that. But anyways, to get to the cards, I will show you. It did have a couple checklist cards. There was 2 checklists, actually. That one. And this one. And that's the list of the inserts, too. So I had 2 of each checklist. So that's that. Here, I'll show you all the player cards. Jeff Jenkins, Warren Morris. Also, another thing that I didn't know, I don't know if you guys can tell, but some of these cards are sticking together. I kind of forgot about that. During cards of this era, a lot of them were bricked together, but not all of them were ruined. Really, most of the ones that were ruined were like the no-name players. So it really wasn't that big of a deal, but I don't know. That being that and not having a Ichiro and a Pujols in there was kind of disappointing. See, like this one's all right. Jason Kendall, Mike Sweeney. I like the design on these. They're pretty cool. I like the silver names, pretty sharp. James Baldwin, Mike Lieberthal, Tony Womack, Ruben Mateo, Lee Stevens. You tell these are old. They still had the Montreal Expos. These are 20 years old. Pokey Reese, Charles Johnson, Chris Singleton, Orlando Hernandez, Jock Jones, Preston Wilson, Rich Helling, and here are the backs. Delino DeShields. I'm not going to show every back. That'll take too long. Robin Ventura. Tim Salmon. Matt Stairs when he's with the A's. David Wells. Mike Hampton. Carl Everett. Todd Zeal. Sean Estes. The Mayor, Sean Casey. Ray Langford. Todd Stottlemyre. Jermaine Dye. He's a pretty good player. Bill Miller. Even though it's spelled Mueller, it's Bill Miller. Jose Cruz Jr. I thought he was going to be like the next Griffey Jr. I don't know. Yeah. They got little paper loss right there. Right there, it just looks like it's the dirt sliding up, but right there, you can tell it's paper loss a little bit. Derek Bell. BJ Surhoff. Matt Clement. A little paper loss there. Pedro Estacio. I'm just giving you all the non-stars, really, and maybe some semi-stars, but Matt Lawton, Dante Bichette. I'd say he was a semi-star, but didn't really do much outside of Colorado. Michael Barrett, Carlos Guillen, formerly of the Tigers. That's got some paper loss too. Peter Bergeron. I thought that was the guy that did America's Funniest Videos. Troy O'Leary. Wasn't that his name? Peter Bergeron. Alex Gonzalez. Tony Batista. Not the wrestler Batista. Jose Valentin. Chris Benson. Jose Offerman. Javier Vasquez. Dimitri Young, former Tiger. He was on the Tigers after that. Shannon Stewart. Brad Radke. Aaron Boone. Jimmy Edmonds. Danny Graves. Raul Mondesi. Former Rookie of the Year, Raul Mondesi. Mo Vaughn, pretty good power hitter. Some average. Hit for pretty good average, too. Eddie Taubensee. J.D. Drew. Brett Boone. That one's got real bad paper loss. Dave Segui. Eric Karros. Steve Finley. Ben Grieve, who was highly touted but never really amounted to anything. Darryl Kyle, rest in peace. Jason Varitek. Rondell White. Adam Kennedy. Gabe Kapler, former Tiger. and was it any of the Yankees manager or something like that? Brady Anderson, 50 home runs one year and nowhere close the rest. Doug Glanville, Henry Rodriguez, Trot Nixon, Luis Castillo, Garrett Anderson, Sandy Alomar Jr., Eric Owens, Travis Lee, Carl Pavano, Joe Girardi, Jimmy Haynes, Ryan Klesko, pretty solid player. Chuck Finley, decent pitcher. Tom Goodwin, fast guy. Nefi Perez, Rich Ankiel, who at that time was still a pitcher. And then he hurt his arm, and then they made him into a hitter, which he's a decent hitter. Benji Molina. That was before Yadier was playing in the majors. Jeffrey Hammonds. Joe Randa. Marquise Grissom. Mike Cameron, Daz Cameron's father, who hit a home run in the majors today in their game against the Angels. Kevin Young, Edgar Renteria, Luis Alicea, John Valentine, Dave Burba, Aaron Seeley, cool first name, Russell Branyan, former Tiger John Flaherty, former Tiger Fernando Vina, wasn't a Tiger for long, Terrence Long, Greg Vaughn, good power hitter, Cliff Floyd, Brian Jordan, Cuvio, I don't know, something Veras, Cuvulo, or something like that. Robert Person. Okay, those are the non-star cards. Well, I also set aside the Astros cards. Richard Hidalgo, Ken Caminiti, Moises Alou, Mitch Molesky. Here's some Tiger card. Bobby Higginson. He was all right. Tony Clark. He was all right. Those were our two best players back then. Dean Palmer. He was good, but yeah, never could stay healthy. Brad Osmus. And Juan Encarnacion. Now to the star cards and semi-stars and just players that I thought were good to keep. Luis Gonzalez, Jason Giambi, Eric Chavez, Jim Thome, Kurt Schilling, Cal Ripken Jr., Chipper Jones, Mike Piazza, my boy Ken Griffey Jr. That's an odd pitcher. Jorge Posada, Roberto Alomar, Paul Konerko. That one's got some bad paper loss. Mariano Rivera. Noma, Garcia Parra, Richie Sexson, Jose Canseco, Paul O'Neill, Carlos Beltran, Manny Ramirez, Ricky Henderson in his twilight years. He was already 43 in that picture. Rafael Palmeiro, Bobby Abreu, Darren Erstad, some more paper loss, Scott Rowland, Tim Hudson, cool old-time unis, Mark Grace, Big Unit, Randy Johnson, Big Cat, Andres Galarraga, Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, Dave Justice, Pudge, Pat Burrell, Mike Mussina, Vladdy Guerrero Sr., Andrew Jones, Troy Gloss, Jeff Kent, Barry Larkin, Fred McGriff, Sheffield, Tino Martinez. There you go, hats, Jeff Bagwell. Another Fred McGriff. I think that was my only duplicate. Matt Williams, Albert Bell, A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, Maddox, Greg Maddox, Miguel Tejada, Bernie Williams, Mark Mulder, Sean Green, Sammy Sosa, Slammin' Sammy, Tom Glavine, Pettit, Andy Pettit, Biggio, there you go, hats, and Carlos Delgado. Well, now I'll show you the rookies. First the single rookies, and then the dual rookies. Ishmael Villegas, sorry. Dusty Allen for the Tigers, I do not remember him at all. Javier Nady, I remember him for the Padres. Chris Richard for Orioles. Tim Drew, J.D. Drew's brother, younger brother. Now the dual ones. Paxton Crawford and Morgan Burkhart. Don't know either one of those. Cameron Carncross and Shan Perry. J.C. Romero and Matt LaCroix. David Coggin and Jason Boyd. Here you go, hats. Wayne Franklin, Scott Linebrink, Astros rookies. Daniel Garibay and Ruben Quevedo. Corey DeHaan and Mike Darr. Adam Melhughes and Ben Petrick, who was a big prospect at one time. Sang-Hoon Lee and Toma Oka. Eric Kamek and Grant Roberts for the Mets. Carlos Casimiro and Ivana Coffee. That's funny. Look at Ivanan Coffee. That's funny. Geraldo Guzman and Jason Conti. Keith McDonald and Justin Brunette. Here's a recognizable name, Aubrey Huff. Kenny Kelly. And Leo Estrella and Pascual Coco. That is kind of an odd name. And then down to the inserts. I will show you these ones first. Tomorrow's Legends. Troy Gloss. I'll show you the back. JD Drew. Rich Ankiel, another Cardinal. Carlos Delgado. And Darren Erstad. Then I got 2 Decade of Dominance. Barry Bonds. Pretty cool. Albert Bell. I got 1 Fall Classics. This Bob Gibson. This 1 Power Plus of Chipper Jones. I've seen this card before. Pretty cool. Only 10 of those Power Plus players. And these were my 2 favorite inserts. This Greatest Hits of Derek Jeter. And this one, Greatest Hits of Ken Griffey Jr. I do not have this card, so I'm happy. And no paper loss on this one either, or on the other Griffey card. So I'm happy. I love his hat backwards. He's not smiling in that picture. He looks like he's confused or something. But that's pretty cool. So that's what I got in the box. Not what I was expecting. Like I said, I'm disappointed at there not being a Pujols or an Ichiro in there, which I should have figured something because it was way too cheap. Plus, also, I didn't think about at that time period, those cards stuck together a lot. Like I said, a lot of the star cards were spared, so I'm happy with that. There were a few cards missing. You notice I didn't get a regular Jeter. I didn't get a Bonds. I didn't get a McGuire in there. No Clemens. But I got some good cards and some good inserts. I wish I would have gotten a game used or an auto, but none of those either. Supposedly it says that, you can get some of those in there, but I didn't get any in that box. So overall, I would say I spent too much for that, even though it was only $100. But based on, I think if none of them would have had paper loss, I think I would have been kind of satisfied. But since they had some had paper loss and it didn't have an Ichiro or a Pujols, so I'm a little disappointed. But you live and you learn. Next time I'll remember that they're not in retail and that those cards stick together. So I probably won't buy them again. I'll probably just buy the singles of those cards, but I don't know. I might try, if the box is cheap enough and it's the hobby box, that I might try for another box, but and just hope and pray they're not stuck together. But who knows? Yeah, it is a bummer. But I don't know. Tomorrow's Sunday. Well, now today's Sunday now. But when I wake up, it's going to be Sunday. So, my show is done with Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if